What's up, guys? Pat, Captain Team No Fat Chicks. I'm going to do a quick recap of both Madison and West Dallas, real short. I ran two separate builds, both Dragunities, just a little tweaking them. So we're going to go right into them. I'll just tell you right now, Madison at Mr. Mountain, I went X3, got 52nd. Started out really bad. West Dallas, also X3, but I missed my invite in round 6. I made a really bad misplay. It's my fault. So, should have done a little better. Let's get into it. Same as before. Double Zephyros the Elite. MVP. Best wing beast in the deck. He starts loops. He makes comebacks. As long as he's live, you can do something big. Best card in the deck, Ducks. I won't even explain his effect. He just makes 6 to 8. Big guy. Double Legionnaire. I was going to run one at West Dallas. I ran only one at Madison. I decided to go to 2 great decision. A couple times I opened subpar hands. Had to set him or try to bait him with a lance to make him 2,000. And then later on in the game, I got my Ravine eventually, and I still had a pop target in my deck. So I really like it. I'm going to stick with it again. It's nice to have 5 targets to search for. Kind of the horror of the deck, Triple Phalanx. He is your big playmaker. If you can keep him on the field, even on weird subpar hands, you can top deck into something good. He will save your butt. One Atlas. I know in my last video I said I run a 1-for-1 for Legionnaires and Duxes to Phalanx and Atlas, but I couldn't find room for the second one, and I'm glad I didn't. You really only need him once. Definitely, there's not a single match in either Madison or West Dallas that I couldn't either get him directly into my grave or already have him in the grave, so only need one. Mistletoe, 2 of them. He makes the loop. He's never bad. Wherever. In the deck, in your hand, nothing is ever bad with him. One thing I'll tell people, Dragunity players out there, problem with T-King, which a lot of people ask about, is summon him, they have T-King, equip with the Phalanx. Unequip it, run into the T-King. Then you get a quick 500. If you have him in hand, then you have Stardust. So that's a way out. You can set back row and protect him. Just keeping your field control is all it's about. Just a little helpful little tidbit right there. 1 Red Eyes. He's necessary for the loop. 2800 beat stick. Our deck finally gets 1. And yeah, a little downside. He's horrible to top deck into. Horrible to have opening hands. But you can work with that. So yay for us. 1 beat stick. Now, Madison ran the tour guide engine. It ran okay. Never had bad things to say about it other than it is its own engine, which I hate to admit it, but it is its own engine. And you had to either make a set Dragunity play or a set tour guide play, and that's what I didn't like about it. So I took it out. In West Dallas, I decided to go double T-King. For about 2 days before the tournament, I was actually maining the Max Cs and testing them. And I realized, with the help of my team, that I actually sided into the T-Kings every game at Madison. So I swapped them out. Great. Thank you, team. Thank you for the advice, for making me realize it. This guy put in work. He won a lot of games, and no one saw him coming. Plus, I only sided into Max C maybe once the entire tournament, which is weird, but it happened. Triple Ravine. That's standard staple. Only 2 terraforming still. Both. The way this deck runs, the way how fluid it runs, how stall happy and stun like it can be in field control. I never went without a field spell or field presence. So there's no need to run 3. If you have to run 3, that's fine, but I never went in either tournament without at least my field spell staying there doing what it needed to do. 1 card's consonants. I only run 4. You're going for the loop. You're going for directly 1 or 2 directly in your grave, so you only have 2 liable targets in your deck left anyway, so only 1 is all I need. Double duality. Some people ask why. I'm running T-King. I'm special summoning a lot. Why duality? It's duality. It mitigates bad hands. You can play around T-King. It's in your hand. Don't play it. Play this. Find your ravine, play it, get your graveyard set up, and then drop a T-King on them. You just successfully played a very good hand in Yu-Gi-Oh! One Foolish Burial. Puts about 2 extra ways to make the loop. And those monster heavy hands of just all ducks, all Legionnaire, top deck this, you just basically won the game. The one-offs, Monster Reban, Pot of Avarice, best top deck in the freaking world, and 1 Heavy Storm. Never bad to start with this in your hand. Staple, 2 MSTs for additional back row hate, and the tech card of Double Forbidden Lance. Most fun thing that happened at the tournament, happened a few times. There's a few decks now that are maining these. I Stardust on the field, I got set Lance. Guy summons a monster weaker than Stardust, attacks out, tries to attack it, declares damage step, tries to Lance my Stardust. I chain that, Lance their monster. That's probably one of the most fun things you can do.
All right, for our viewers who've been paying attention, we saw that you do not main a Dark Hole. It's a pretty good staple for almost any meta deck. Can you tell us why you don't do that?
Well, first of all, deck's not really meta. It's not even on the map right now from what I see. I got called Judge a lot for almost every effect that my monsters had. But it's field control. You're either sitting on a Stardust, you're sitting on a T-King. It takes a turn or two to set up your field. And Dark Hole eradicates all of that. Maybe in 1-2 matchups at the most is Dark Hole really quite necessary to activate. But in hindsight, I feel like I'm actually losing the battle. If I just spent 2 turns setting up my field, and then I wipe it all out, and I -1 for my hand, and then giving my opponent their turn, I feel like that's nothing I can do. At least with the plays I'm making, I usually finish with an Eclipse or a Phalanx on the field, and I can Methyl Taint from my hand, and then make a Stardust and retain field presence.
Good to know.
That was 16 monsters, 16 spells. Yeah, they're the same, but it's really good combo. Really good. They flow well. Everything kind of works together, and it's really nice to know and really nice to have. So that leaves room for 8 traps. We're on the Solemn Brigade of 1 Judgment, double warning. That's just standard. Absolutely standard. Double Compulse. Feeling for my teammate Kaz. We went to West Dallas. He was only able to find a couple of the secrets. I ended up finishing my set. Little shout out on Gear Gears. I know they're new, and my friend Kaz and I were both building one. He just finished his, and he took it to West Dallas. Did pretty good, but their playstyle is still yet unknown. So I want to shine a little light on how they run. They are all hand control, and I know this seems like a really weird card, and probably most newer duelists or less experienced to side out very quickly on them for noblemans. Think maybe try actually keeping them in, because their biggest monster is actually Machina Fortress, and as the only card in the deck that actually has a -1 to their hand. I had a guy, shout out to a guy, can't even think of his name, I'm sorry, but during the 4th round, I was X1. I ended up 2-0ing my Gear matchup. Using this was big. T-King won game 2, but this won game 1. He kept Machina Fortressing, and he did he dropped Gear Frame in that to summon Machina Fortress. I had no cards in hand, I was playing for it, bounced it right back. He ended up having to ditch the Fortress and Accelerator to bring it back. I bounced it back again, not minusing anything, because I'm, once again, like I said, no cards were in my hand. I set everything. So then he ditched it. He only had 2 cards left in hand, and it ended up being an armor. He set his armor, and I just so happened to have my Crossout, which I banished it, and now he's down to 1 card while I'm sitting on my entire field, just sitting pretty. So next time you think before you're going to side these out, maybe this can actually help you with hand advantage. Think outside the box on this one. Great card. Good against almost any deck. Double D Prison. That's a staple this format. absolute staple. With Inzectors being hit so much, you can set these live. And 1 Mirror Force. It was pretty good, I guess. 40 card deck. Let's go on to the extra. I ran 4 8s, Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter, and Double Stardust. The Double Stardust came out in handy every time. It is a Dragunity deck. For the 6-star engine, 1 Durg. Only saw a little bit of play, but he was very necessity. And triple Vajrayana. They're Vajrayana. I do run 2 Legionnaires, so 2 5s, and Avarice is a card, so run them. As for the Ixies, 1 Gaia Dragon. He's part of the loop. Photon Strike Bouncer, probably one of the best 6 ranks in the game. Swordbreaker might get sided out. He didn't get used almost at all. So, but he's going to stay in because I don't know what to put in for it. So, comment me if you have an idea. And if I like it, I'll give you a shout out. And then Atum. The loop. And 1 4 rank, I choose Maestro. I don't go Utopia. He's a Gachi. And I like Field Presence. So, him and the Book of Moon effect. And let's go lastly, not least, we'll go side deck. Kriba token separates everything. I go double max C. I actually only sided once on these guys. Kind of sucks, but I'm gonna use them in for the next tournament because I feel I'm gonna use these more. I didn't face any 6 Sams or anything, so I'm a little confused. 1 Cyber Dragon, obvious reasons. It's a Cyber Dragon, skill drain decks, machine decks, big card. Little tech card, double Raikou. People who like to side macro or D-Fissure on me, I'll just set this. Pop that back row or pop the T-King, mill my tuners or Zephy, go on with my business. Great little tech card. No one sees the Raikous coming. It's extra destruction. 1 Soul Taker. Yes, that is secret. You do not find those anywhere. Heroes, T-Kings, anything that just needs to be destroyed, but mainly against Chaos Dragons and Heroes. Great card. Also against Chaos Dragons and Heroes. Misses timing. 1 Smashing Ground because I don't like them gaining life points. So if I only need a little bit of destruction, instead of going this, I'll go Smashing. Double Decree, staple. There is Chain Burn. There are heavy back row decks like Agents. So just absolute necessity. Double Imperial Iron Wall. My big weakness is Banishment. Everyone already knows that. So I'll just swap out the Deep Prisons and I'll protect myself. Plus Dark Worlds have a hard time getting around that because they can't use their field spell. I didn't use it, but I am going to use it in the next one. Needle Sealing. This will be my Dark Hole. This is more devastating because it's on your turn, and windups don't like it. Specifically for Chain Burn, Blackwing Dragon. I already make 8s. I'll drop 1 of the Stardusts. Any non-battle damage I would take, he gets a counter on it instead, and if you happen to have a monster, you will take the damage. So he's going to save me from taking all that Chain Burn damage. It's amazing. And then for the Cyber Dragon, Chimera Tech, staple. I dropped him twice in the tournament. Happened to lose those games, but he did clear up the field a little bit, so it's great. Shout out to another Dragunity player that was there. She didn't do too well, but gotta give out the shout out to the only other Dragunity deck out of the almost 200 people at that tournament. Keep up, doing what you're doing. Assault mode still works. Hopefully, maybe my deck might interest you. This is Pat, Team No Fat Chicks. Good luck out there, guys. Maybe you'll see me around.